sickening, sinful cities in the history of mankind. So you have people there that their understanding of the law is answer to Rome. Then you've got the Jews who are living under the law of the Old Testament. And if you remember our study from the Sermon on the Mount, there's a group called the scribes who wrote all the laws, over 600 pages of laws that these people were trying to keep. And then the third group of people you had were the people from Corinth or the Jews who had come to Christ, who had experienced salvation. So what Paul is trying to say is, when I talk to the guys from Corinth, I got to use certain words. I got to make it apply to the way they think and what they understand. When I talk to the Jew who's still living under the law, I used to live that way. I can explain to him in terms they get how I came out of that. And to the third group, he talks to them completely different because they've experienced salvation. So Paul is trying to say, it's not that I change, it's that my method changes. And I use different words when I'm talking over here than when I talk to these people over here. And when I go to group number 3, I use completely different words than when I talk to group number 1. The message is the same. The method changes. When I worked at UBS, I was a financial advisor, they had acronyms. And we used to have a jar that if you used abbreviations, you had to put $1 in the jar. Because not everybody knows what you're talking about, a VRDO. Huh? Yeah, you want one? Would you think you would want a VRDO? Yes, I'm saying you do. Okay? It's a tax-free, government-backed bond. Tax-free. Yes, you want one. Okay? But you wouldn't know that if you didn't know what a VRDO was. So to you, I would call it a variable rate debt object. And then I'll explain how it works. Because you don't know what a VRDO is yet. Same thing with Paul. I talk differently to these groups of people so that they get it. So I'm not wasting my time. And so you and I are supposed to try all things to reach all people. Now that doesn't mean we go out and we sin and we break the law. What it means is by moral law and ethical law, you and I are living under the law of love.
Amen.
Not the law of grace. We live under the law of love. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Okay? And through the whole Sermon on the Mount, what did Jesus teach us? It's not just enough to live under the law of grace. We've got to live our lives like we actually love people. So you and I are living under the law of love. And so we should do everything within the law of love to try to reach people. Everything we can to try to reach people. If you said to somebody, hey, are you coming to my wedding? And they said, by all means. What would that mean? It means no matter what. You can count on me going to be there. I'll take a train, I'll take a bus, I'll get a bike, whatever I got to do. That's what it means, right? You can count on me to do it. You heard about the guy that wrote the letter to his girlfriend? Honey, I'd climb the tallest mountain. I'd swim the widest sea. I'd fight the wildest hurricane. I'll see you on Saturday if it doesn't rain. Okay? Okay, that's not by all means. By all means nothing's going to keep us from trying. You're going to do anything. Ain't no mountain high enough. That's by all means. Okay? So he says, so should we try anything? And here's the part that's kind of depressing. That we might save some. And the word for some can also be translated few. So we're going to go climb mountains and swim oceans. And we might save a few. Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. You scatter seed, there's 4 kinds. Falls on the rock, doesn't grow. Falls on the path, birds get it. Falls on the shallow soil, grows for a while, dies. Fertile soil, but only 1 out of 4. It's odds. It's the lottery. Okay? And our job is to share it with as many people as we can and let them choose. By all possible means, we might save a few. You're like, well, why bother? Why go to all this trouble? You've got to be kidding me. We're going to invest all this time and effort and sweat and heartbreak to save a few? Yeah. You know why? Because people matter. That's why. People matter. And Paul says, I do it for the sake of the gospel. You see, if you and I stop telling the story, Christianity will die. Just like your family traditions and your family heritage. If your kids don't know about their grandparents and your great-grandparents and your family tree, pretty soon that story dies. And I got news for you. I'm very fearful, seriously. Within 40 years, I'm not sure that the Christian church is going to be left in North America. I'm serious. 40 years, 2 generations. And I'll tell you why. Pastor Sheraton and I in Miss Connie, we were at a conference this week where this church growth expert threw this number out. We close 2,487 churches in this country every week. Every week. Now we start 2,000 churches. So we're going backwards 500 churches a week. That's 26,000 a year. In 40 years, that's 1 million churches closed. Now don't fret, there's 8,000 Southern Baptist churches just in Georgia, okay? But what I'm telling you is, that's a true number, by the way. What I'm telling you is, the numbers of churches and the influence we're having in the culture is declining. And so we have to continue to tell the story just for the sake of the gospel. That's why we bother, is because people really, really do matter. Now what we need is a plan, okay? The people matter. We're going through this whole possible means thing, and here's the goal. What you and I need is a whole new way, okay? Because we got to run this race like we need it. We got to run the race like we expect to win. Nobody starts out a race hoping for fifth, okay? You know, and no parent is racing a kid going, gosh, I hope you go to prison someday. That's not what we're doing. You raise kids to be winners. You run races to win. Now, I used to be a professional golfer. And I used to play against guys who were a lot better than me. And they beat me most of the time. But not every time. And there wasn't one time I ever went to the first tee hoping to just finish. Amen. I went there expecting to win. Now I might not win, but what I determined was, if you win, it's because you will beat me, not because I beat myself. Okay? Now, let's just pretend for a second, okay? Let's pretend that we're a country. We are the country of Orlando, South America. Okay? We are a country, and you are the fastest backstroker we got. You're the fastest backstroke swimmer we got. You're so fast we call you lightning, okay, or whatever. Now, and you race and you swim it in a minute and a half. Okay? It's 100 meter down and back, minute and a half. I don't know if that's good or not, we're just using it as an analogy. But because you're the fastest in our country, you go to the Olympics. You're in lane 6. And in lane 3 is this big, gigantic albatross of a man from America named Michael Phelps. And when he works out, he swims it in a minute 3. And your best ever is a minute 30. You ain't got a chance. They're handing you your shorts as soon as you hit the water because you're done. You do not have a chance. But those guys that go from Orlando, South America, they go there believing that maybe one time something miraculous could happen and they would swim faster than they've ever swam in their lives, or that Michael Phelps is going to dive in and hit his head on the bottom and he's not going to make it. The point is, you don't go to the Olympics hoping for second. Even though you know the odds are against you. And you and I have got to run this race to reach people like we expect to win. And quit sitting around being sissy about it. We got to get busy. But we got to expect to win. Run it like you're planning to win. Listen, this is the thing. We're having a drought, Pastor. We're having a terrible drought. And we want to have prayer that God will send us rain. And nobody brings an umbrella. Come on. That's faith. You got to plan on winning. And what we need, like the economy, is a restart. We need a bailout bill or whatever. Because in this race, there's no second place. You're not getting a silver medal. Second place is first loser. On November the 5th, early in the morning, John and Barack are going to go to bed. One of them will be the winner, and the other will be the loser. It will not be first place and second place. And in the race for people's lives, there is no second place. There's no second place. There's winners and first losers. And we got to run this like we mean it. And so what Paul says is, I put myself into training. I'm not just going to just show up and expect to win. We have some people in our church that are practicing for a marathon. They run 3 miles, then they run a mile, then they run 4.5 miles, and they run 2. Then they run 4, then they run 2. Then